This illustration still deals with splice conductors in accordance with 230.46. Now notice, first of all, let's review the supply side of the splice can that you see in the building to your left, which is your dwelling unit. This type of splice is only allowed, in dwelling type units. Now notice we have the supply with no overcurrent device ahead of the conductors as outlined in 250.142A1 shown in the illustration. Those conductors with no overcurrent device ahead of them is routed into a splice can. In the splice can, we route those conductors from the splice can inside to the service panel for the dwelling unit. Then we route the conductors from the splice can out to the workshop to the right. But notice this is existing, been there a while, and notice that the grounding of the panel board in the workshop is done in accordance with 250.32B1 exception, meaning what? That the grounded neutral conductor routed out and connected to the panel board into the enclosure serves as three conductors. Serves as a grounded conductor for an effective ground fault path in accordance with 250.5A5. It also deals as a neutral calculated neutral in accordance with 220.61. And then it also serves as a bonding means in accordance with 250.28 of the code. So it serves actually as three conductors if it's existing by the permission of the exception. But now notice if I'm the electrician and I'm installing this new, that disconnect in the panel board in the workshop would have to be connected in a sub-panel configuration with a neutral bar isolated from the can, and the grounded bar is bonded to the can with all neutrals and equipment grounds in the workshop connecting there, and earth grounded to a driven rod is shown in the illustration as permitted by 250.52A5 of the code. Now, to apply the, and what we're saying here, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, that cable run out to the workshop due to time, corrosion, and things has corroded and went to ground in some manner. So it's spliced with a listed splicing kit that complies with 110.14B as in boy, as well as 230.46. Now, the splice can itself complies with 230.40 exception 3. Now, we're talking about, just for you, so you we're all on the same page, we're talking about the splice can in the illustration to the left at the dwelling unit. Now, we've already talked about the mask, the service mask, 2-inch metal conduit or greater, in 230.24B as in boy, and 230.26. The definition of what is considered a dwelling unit can be found in Article 100 of the NEC. Now, this illustration in Figure 6-26 illustrates splicing the conductors in a cable in the ground that is routed from the service equipment splice can at the dwelling unit out to the sub-panel or panel that is located in the workshop, and we are applying 230.40 exception 3. So be sure if you are looking at this type of installation, that you're familiar with the sections that are outlined in this illustration, so that you're on top of your game if this type of installation has to take place in accordance with Figure 6-26.